So earlier we have discussed Stone Age, Indus Valley Civilization. Now it's time to discuss about Vedic Age. And in Vedic Age we have discussed in the last lecture about the Vedic literary resources and archaeological resources and classification of literary resources and different group of families related to the language. Now today I will be discussing early Vedic age and later Vedic age in greater detail. Now in the last lecture we have also covered comparison between early Vedic age and later Vedic age with respect to geographical zone and economy, society, polity, as well as religion. Now I will go into deeper on all these aspects of early Vedic age and later Vedic age, namely geographical zone, economy, society, polity, and religion, right? So let's begin with Rig Vedic age. So as far as Rig Vedic age is concerned, geographical zone consists of Sapt Sindha. Sapt Sindha means Sindh river. Sapt means seven. The seven Sindh river, including the Sindh river. And this region is also called Aryavart, means land of Aryan. So this is the core habitation zone. Means this is the core zone from where they will expand later. So Sapt means seven rivers, and name of the rivers Indus and its southern tributaries, namely Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, and Vyas. These are the modern name, and Satluj. These are the modern name. And what is the Rig Vedic names of these rivers? So Indus is called Sindhu, and Jhelum is called Vitasta, and Chenab is called Askini, Ravi is called Purushni, and Vyas is called Vipasha, and Satluj is called Sutodri. Ghaggar, now this is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7th river is Ghaggar, and its Rig Vedic name is Saraswati river. Now these rivers, these 7 rivers region is the Rig Vedic people region. Okay, so this is also called Aryavart or land of Arya. As far as number of times these rivers has been named in Rig Vedic literature is concerned, the Indus is named, Sindhu is named 75 times. सबसे ज़्यादा Indus is named, and then after 72 times Saraswati river is named. Okay, and its Saraswati river is also called Nadi Tama, means mother river. Okay, and apart from that some other rivers like western tributaries of Indus. These are the southern tributaries. Now western tributaries of Indus also, like Kabul, and Rig Vedic name is Kubha. Swat river and Rig Vedic name is Suvastu river, and Gomal river, that is Gomti river, Rig Vedic name. So these rivers mentioned only 3 to 4 times. That means these are the frontier zone that has been covered by the later incoming Aryans. Okay, and Ganga and Yamuna also mentioned. Ganga mentioned in Rig Vedic text 3 times and Yamuna 2 times. So this is also peripheral region to the core region. So these Ganga, Yamuna, Kabul, Swat, and Gomal rivers region are the frontier zone, are the peripheral region, right? And now some mountains also mentions. So Himavant mountain means western Himalayas, current name is, and Muzamant peak, this is mentioned in 9th mandala of Rig Veda. This is related to Shoma plant. Shoma is also called god of drink. So this is 9th mandala, means later edition of Rig Veda. So western India, and Madhuvaridhi river and Majwan peak, this is found in Kashmir. These are also frontier area, because these are mentioned in the 9th mandala of Rig Veda. That is the latter addition to the Rig Veda. Now Shoma plant found in Muzwanta peak, and this is useful for drink. So Soma is also called, god of drink. Now one more word mentioned in Rig Veda, that is Dhanava, means desert, Thar desert. So Thar desert, people in the desert area can't live for much time. So these are also frontier area. Might be they went there for some cattle or all those things. And apart from this literary sources in the Rig Veda, that is for geographical zone, there are some archaeological remains in these areas, means Sapt Sindhu areas, confirm that the Rig Vedic text, what this mentioned about the river's region, it is confirmed through archaeological remains as well. Because Punjab and Haryana, that is the nucleus of early Vedic period, we found different archaeological remains. In eastern Punjab and Haryana, we found PGW culture, painted grey ware culture, and western Punjab we found cemetery age culture, northern Punjab Gandhara grape culture. So what are the different types of archaeological remains we found? That is pottery, bronze copper tools, weapons, mud huts, and burials. So this is in this map, if you see, so the red one is core zone, and north to it and east to it and south to it, this is the frontier zone, means later on they expand towards these regions. And during later Vedic period, these early Vedic people moved towards mid Gangetic plain through the via the foothills of Himalayas. Okay, now when early Vedic people came to India from Central Asia, let's say this is the Central Asia. Let me explain this. So suppose this is the Central Asia from where the Aryans came. Now Central Asian people came, then there are already Chalcolithic people living there, local natives. So this Central Asian people will have some fair skin color. Now they will interact with these natives, and these natives will have some dark skin. So they will interact with and they will do marriage and all. So these people who came from Central Asia will intermix with the native people. Okay, suppose in one flux they came. Now in the next flux, when they came, so when they intermarry each other, then that skin will be more fairer. So the fairness of the skin color will increase in each flux of the Vedic people. Those are coming from Central Asia to India, northwest India. So you can think of that. This means that they did not come at once. They came in fluxes. They came one by one in the group form. Okay, so fair skins color will improve. So in this way, there must be conflict. So the dark native skin. So this will be early Aryan as well as Chalcolithic people, early Aryan, Chalcolithic people, or late Harappan people. This is post Harappan period we are discussing. Later Vedic age, early Vedic age. So later Harappan people. So for next flux of Aryans, the early Aryans also become native. Early Aryans, Chalcolithic people, late Harappan people, these all are native people. Okay, so these all are native people. So there may be a fight between native people based on the races and all. So there may be a fight between early Vedic, early Aryans with natives. Okay, so the relation between interaction of early Vedic um, early Aryans with natives. So this is extremely hostile, frequently conflicted. They conflicted frequently for control of resources like cattle in the early Vedic period, and later it will be converted into the in later Vedic period on the land resource. Okay, so proof क्या है कि ये conflict तो करते थे. तो conflict का proof क्या है? ऋग वेदा में mention है 10 राजा नियुक्त. So Indra on the one side, this is one tribe, defeating the Dasas, Dasyus and Panis. So these all are non-Aryans, okay, enslaved people. So Dasyus, Panis are very similar name. So these were defeated by Indra. So Dasas were mentioned untrustworthy in the Rig Veda, and Dasyus are cattle thieves, okay. And based on that, Rig Veda justified Dasyu Hatya was justified. Dasyu Hatya was justified based on cattle thieves. Now Panis were also cattle thieves and holders of wealth. They were holding the wealth. Now if you observe this relationship between early Vedic Aryans and early Aryans with the natives, these are the native people and the Aryans, those are coming. The conflict between these, the combination of conflict. So complex picture emerges and closer observation. If you observe it closely, you will find that combination of conflict and cooperation between non-Aryans and Aryans. Now how do you prove that there is a cooperation between Aryans and non-Aryans? So this could be seen in archaeological remains like PGW sites of Nagar, Dadheri and Bhagwanpura. And if you find out conflict, then 10 Raja Niyut. So Aryan tribe, one tribe, Aryan tribe is Bharat tribe, and this is versus Bharat tribe between Bharat tribe and confederacy of 10 different tribes. उस different tribes में 5 Aryan tribes थे और 5 non Aryan tribes मिल करके भरत ट्राइब से युद्ध किए थे, 10 राजन युद्ध. दिस इज कॉल्ड 10 राजन युद्ध बिकॉज 5 आर्यन ट्राइब्स एंड 5 नॉन आर्यन ट्राइब्स. तो अब इन आर्यन ट्राइब्स और नॉन आर्यन ट्राइब्स के बीच कोऑपरेशन तो यहाँ भी मिल रहा है. तो सो दिस इज द this is showing conflict and cooperation both. So this and the basis of this, there is a emergence of new social group. So Dasas, who are the Dasas? Descendants of early arriving Aryans. Whoever early arrived Aryan, first flux that has arrived. So this is the first flux that has arrived and this is the second flux that has arrived. So early Aryans and descendants of early Aryans and local Chalcolithic or late Harappan people inhabiting in Indus-Saraswati zone. So these are the Dasas, intermixing through intermarriage. And Panis are the traders, traded with Aryans, pastoral nomadic tribe. So Chalcolithic agrarian people right here and Aryans. So there is a fight and cooperation both. And so slowly you will find that Aryans also began adopting certain practices, traits from the natives, because native Chalcolithic people knew how to do agricultural activity. Okay, so they have adopted certain practices, traits from natives, such as their religious customs like fire worship, and language like adoption of retrofly sound, and economic practices such as agriculture. So now let us discuss characteristic of life during the early Vedic age. So in this we will discuss economic life, political life, social life, religious life. So let's move one by one. So the first, the economic life. Economic life is characterized by pastoralism or animal husbandry, and primary cattle was primarily they are doing animal husbandry with respect to cattle, and this cattle is mentioned as gau in Sanskrit word in the Rig Veda, right? And you will find this gau as a root word, and gau has so importance in the Rig Vedic period that from this gau as a root word several other words had been given in Rig Vedic literature. That is gopat, like rich man, master. Gopat, go means gau and pat means pati. So gopat or godhuli. Godhuli is the, this is the godhuli bela, means time of dusk, when sun is setting. Okay, then cow is moving to home. Cow is moving to home and dust is blowing out from her surface, and so this is called the godhuli vela. And gauyuti means this is the unit of measuring distance, so this is also formed from gau root word. And gavesti means war for the cow, and goghana means this is respected guest, used for respected guest who is the eater of ghee. So gau word is also here there. And duhitri means dugdh, this is used for daughter. So these are the word that has been the root word in gau. Okay, and so primarily they do everything with respect to cattle, gau, and others were also, other animals are also there, but had little importance, like horse, dogs, birds, goats, sheep. Okay, now this is now as far as agriculture is concerned, in early Vedic age it is underdeveloped, and in the later Vedic age it will be fully developed. So in the early Vedic age it is only at the level of subsistence level, means this is secondary activity for them. So agri practices and rituals like ploughing, sowing, harvesting, threshing of the crop, these are mentioned, and but not mentioned too much frequently. Okay, so all fruit grains in early Vedic age, please understand, all food grains in the early Vedic age named as yava, means wheat होगा तो उसे भी यवा कहेंगे, बारले होगा उसको भी यवा कहेंगे. सो ये कैसे इनको मिला आर्यंस को? अर्ली वैदिक आर्यन तो खेती करना जानते नहीं थे, तो ये क्या करते थे, चैल्कोलिथिक ग्रुप जो प्रेजेंट था, जो लोकल नेटिव्स थे उनसे ट्रेड करते थे, तो उनसे ये यवा लेते थे, व्हीट या बारले, और उनको बदले में वो लोग क्या देते थे, कैटल. अर्ली वैदिक पीपल कैटल, हार्स या मेटेलिक कुछ चीज़ें मेटल्स की भी देते थे, या मिल्क देते थे. तो दिस इज़ द बार्टर सिस्टम देयर अप्लाइड, एंड लिटिल और नो. अब यहाँ पे क्या है, सब्सिस्टेंस टाइप एग्रीकल्चर था, तो एग्रीकल्चर सरप्लस नहीं था. अब एग्रीकल्चर सरप्लस नहीं होगा तो डिग्री ऑफ क्राफ्ट्स स्पेशलाइजेशन कैसे होगा? सरप्लस होता है तभी क्राफ्ट्स की तरफ भी लोगों का ध्यान जाता है, तो क्राफ्ट्स स्पेशलाइजेशन भी ज़्यादा नहीं था, क्योंकि जो एग्रीकल्चर सरप्लस था ही नहीं, तो फूड के सर्च में लोग घूमते थे इधर उधर, लाइक पास्टोरलिज्म और एग्रीकल्चर एट वेरी स्मॉल स्केल था, तो वो इन द सर्च ऑफ फूड दे वर मूविंग हेयर एंड देयर, so they did not find any time for crafts specialization. Okay, so craft has not been developed much. Craft specialization was very low, so this is secondary economic activity such as pottery, weaving, chariot making, carpentry, metal smithing, basket weaving, gold smithing, etc. Now as far as trade is concerned, since craft specialization was low, so trade is also low, because trade has also limited value, and basis of trade is barter system, means in exchange of goods will be given. So trading partners were Chalcolithic natives and early Aryans. आर्यंस, राइट, जो बहुत पहले आए थे, फर्स्ट फ्लक्स, सेकेंड फ्लक्स, उसके बाद जो थर्ड फोर्थ आए. नाउ बैलेंस ऑफ ट्रेड जो था वो दैट इज़ टिल्टेड टूवर्ड्स चैल्कोलिथिक पीपल, ओके, बिकॉज दे नो द एग्रीकल्चर. सो इसीलिए उन्हें एक्यूज किया गया है कि ये होर्ड कर रहे हैं वेल्थ को या कैटल को स्टील कर रहे हैं, है ना. तो अगर एब्सेंस ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर है, एग्रीकल्चर की एब्सेंस है, देन यू विल फाइंड इन अर्ली वैदिक एज दैट कम्युनिटी ऑनरशिप और प्राइवेट ऑनरशिप. So you will not find any private ownership, you will find community ownership, okay. So means ज़्यादा wealth inequality लोगों के बीच नहीं थी. So this was the economic system that you must understand. And next system that you have to understand the political life. Political life और nature of state कैसा था, टेरिटोरियल स्टेट था या फिर टेरिटोरियल स्टेट नहीं था. तो ट्राइबल स्टेट सिस्टम था. दीज आर्यंस आर द ट्राइबल ग्रुप्स. ट्राइबल था तो टेरिटरी नहीं थी, टेरिटरी का प्रेजेंट नहीं था, क्योंकि ये दीज आर पास्टोरल कम्युनिटी, तो दे आर मूविंग हेयर एंड देयर. मल्टी स्टेट सिस्टम था, मीन्स बहुत सारे ट्राइब एक साथ रहते थे. रिलेशन बिटवीन जो डिफरेंट ट्राइब्स था दैट इज़ करेक्टराइज बाई कोऑपरेशन, कोऑपरेट करते थे एक दूसरे से, और कॉन्फ्लिक्ट भी करते थे ओवर व्हाट, कैटल वेल्थ. तो कैटल वाज इम्पॉर्टेंट. नाउ पॉलिटिकल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को ट्राइबल पीपल्स जो थे वो ट्राइबल स्टेट बनाते थे, उन्हें कहते थे जना. जना इज़ द ट्राइबल स्टेट, और इसका जो चीफ होता था वो होता था जनेश गोपा. तो जना का जो चीफ होता था वो दैट इज़ जनेश गोपा, ओके. तो बिगेस्ट यूनिट जो थी वो ट्राइबल स्टेट थी, जना थी, और सबसे स्मॉलेस्ट यूनिट जो था वो था कुला, ओके. सो दिस कुला इज़ द स्मॉलेस्ट यूनिट एंड जना ट्राइब इज़ द biggest unit. और जना was individual और joint family, so they were joint family, right, not individual. और इनके जो हेड होते थे वो कुलपति होते थे. कुलपति मीन्स घर का सबसे जो बड़ा मेल होता था पति, उसे ही एल्डेस्ट मेल को कुलपति बनाया जाता था. तो हेड ऑफ द कुला इज़ कुलपति, ओके. सो कुला जॉइंट फैमिली. नाउ दीज फैमिलीज टुगेदर कॉन्स्टिट्यूट ग्राम, ओके, and led by Gramini, means village headman, right. Now different grams, group of grams will constitute bis and headed by bispati, okay. And different which combined together will give the jana. Jana means tribal state, so and headed by Janesh Gopa. So these are the hierarchy. So this is the hierarchy, means it will start from Kula at the family level, then goes to Grama or Gram, then goes to Bis, and then goes to Jana, okay. Jana, okay. So later on when they will learn agriculture, and they will in the later Vedic age they will put their food, and that area will become Janpada in the later Vedic period and agriculture. So this will become Janpada, and in the age of Mahajanpada these Janpadas will grow into Mahajanpada, right. So what do you think that this Jana, that is the Janesh Gopa, like king, it has democratic element, or this system, this political system will have democratic element or not democratic element. So this has democratic element because elected chief Janesh Gopa was elected by the people, and their powers are also limited, not absolute power. जो कह देंगे वही होगा, लोगों से सलाम मशविरा लेके ही होगा काम. डेमोक्रेटिक असेंबलीज थी, जैसे लाइक सभा, समिति, विधाता एंड गना एंड संघा लेटर वैदिक एज में आया है. तो 3 समिति ओनली, सभा, समिति एंड विधाता इन अर्ली वैदिक एज. सभा इज़ द असेंबली ऑफ ऑल द मेन, मीन्स सारे हर फैमिली में जो कुलपति होते थे उनको इकट्ठा कर दो तो उससे क्या बन जाती थी, असेंबली, है ना. और ये असेंबली क्या करती थी, जनेश गोपा और अदर ऑफिशियल्स को इलेक्ट करती थी. And Samiti is the assembly of elders, both men and women, to assist the chief and his various responsibility. And Vidhata is the oldest of all these assemblies, men और women दोनों होते थे, ठीक है. टैक्सेशन सिस्टम पे आए, सिंस अंडर डेवलप्ड एग्रीकल्चर था, So Bali was the only voluntarily give tribute made by the people for chief. Okay, Bali names for strength. So expression of sovereignty. वो अपने राजा के लिए, किंग के लिए ऐसा करते थे, जनेश्वगोपा को बलि देते थे। मीन्स वॉलंटरी ट्राइब्यूट था ये। टैक्सेशन सिस्टम एब्सेंट था इस पीरियड में, अर्ली वैदिक एज में। ब्यूरोक्रेसी भी एब्सेंट थी। ऑफिशियल सिलेक्टेड थे, अपॉइंटेड नहीं थे जनेश्वगोपा के द्वारा, और कोई परमानेंट स्टैंडिंग आर्मी वहाँ पे प्रेजेंट नहीं थी, कोई इसका प्रमाण नहीं मिलता है। केवल ट्राइबल मिलिटियाज या रेडिंग पार्टीज या स्काउट्स थे। सो क्या क्या आपको मिला? जनेश्वगोपा जो ऑफिशियल्स थे, जो ब्यूरोक्रेसी वेल डेवलप नहीं थी, बट उसमें किंग थे जनेश्वगोपा, सेनानी और पुरोहिता, मतलब चीफ्स प्रीस्ट। ओके, सोसाइटी पे आए तो ये इगैलिटेरियन सोसाइटी थी। मींस लगभग सब इक्वल थे, क्योंकि सभी कैटल पे ही ध्यान देते थे। एग्रीकल्चर सरप्लस नहीं था, तो इक्वलिटी थी, बहुत स्ट्रेटिफाइड सोसाइटी नहीं थी। सो इगैलिटेरियन सोसाइटी ड्यू टू पॉलिटिकल एंड सोशल इक्वलिटी। नाउ वर्णा सिस्टम, सोशल रैंकिंग, तो इनिशियली ब्राह्मण, क्षत्रिय और वैश्य भी था, बट लेटर पीरियड ऑफ अर्ली वैदिक एज इटसेल्फ एक वर्णा और जुड़ गया, दैट इज़ शूद्र। तो ब्राह्मण, क्षत्रिय, वैश्य, शूद्र, तो ये एक्यूपेशन बेस्ड होते थे, जो जैसा काम करता था उसके बेसिस पे उन्हें ब्राह्मण, क्षत्रिय, वैश्य और शूद्र कहा जाता था। ये असाइंड नहीं था, बाय बर्थ नहीं था। अटेंड नॉट असाइंड स्टेटस, नॉट बाय बर्थ, ओके, नॉट बाय बर्थ। वर्णा मोबिलिटी आल्सो एग्जिस्टेड, नो रेस्ट्रिक्शन ऑन वर्णा इंटरमैरेज। इंटरमैरेज पे कोई वर्णा इंटरमैरेज में कोई रेस्ट्रिक्शंस नहीं था। एज वेल एज वर्णा मोबिलिटी, कोई ब्राह्मण से क्षत्रिय बनना चाहे बन सकता है, अपने कर्म चेंज कर ले, तो ये दिस इज बेस्ड ऑन ऑक्यूपेशन। इफ दे विल चेंज इन वन फैमिली, इन ऋग्वेदा इन वन हिम्स, कि एक डिफरेंट ऑक्यूपेशन कर रहा है, दूसरा डिफरेंट ऑक्यूपेशन कर रहा है, तो ब्राह्मण, क्षत्रिय, शूद्र, वैश्य उसमें सारे प्रेजेंट हो जाते हैं एक ही फैमिली में। सो देयर इज़ फेयर चांस ऑफ मोबिलिटी बिटवीन द वर्णा। कास्ट जाति सिस्टम एब्सेंट था। अनटचेबिलिटी तो तब आती है जब कास्ट और जाति सिस्टम आती है, तो ये तो पोस्ट मॉडर्न गुप्ता पीरियड के पहले, पोस्ट मॉडर्न या गुप्ता पीरियड के पहले नहीं आया। तो कास्ट और जाति सिस्टम एब्सेंट था, तो इसलिए अनटचेबिलिटी भी एब्सेंट थी। एंड सोशल डिस्क्रिमिनेशन टुक प्लेस ओनली ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ रेस, स्किन कलर, ओके। एंड जो डिस्क्रिमिनेटेड ग्रुप थे, सब एक्सेप्शंस है, वो दासाज, दासीज और पानीज थे, क्योंकि उनकी डार्कर स्किन थी, तो वो रेशियल डिस्क्रिमिनेशन ही ओनली था। और एमंग आर्यंस आप देखो, ये तो नॉन आर्यंस थे, दासाज, दासीज, पानीज, तो इनसे डिस्क्रिमिनेट करते थे आर्यंस लोग। आर्यंस और नॉन आर्यंस के बीच डिस्क्रिमिनेशन था, बट एमंग आर्यंस देयर इज़ नो सोशल डिस्क्रिमिनेशन, ओके। और बेसिस ऑफ सोशल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन क्या था? ट्राइब थे, ट्राइबल आइडेंटिटी थी, मींस इनके कॉमन एंसेस्टर्स हुआ करते थे। सो मेंबरशिप इन द ट्राइब, एक्विजिशन ऑफ कॉमन राइट्स, प्रिविलेज, ड्यूटीज़ एंड ऑब्लिगेशंस इन एवरी फील्ड। ओमेन, दिस इज़ कॉल्ड गोल्डन एज फॉर ओमेन, एंड एविडेंस मिला है इसका। जैसे गॉडेसेस के रूप में, बहुत सारी गॉडेसेस के रूप में भी हम वुमेन को जानते हैं, जैसे ब्रह्मवादिनीज, फीमेल स्कॉलर्स, सी हैज़ कंपोज द हिम्स, घोषा, अपाला, सीकता एंड विश्वरा मैत्री, एंड यज्ञ पार्टिसिपेशन, दे हैव पार्टिसिपेटेड, फीमेल हैज़ had participated in yajna also. Political activity, samiti, vidhata and economic participation had also been seen, and modern social evils, sati, pradha, dowry, child marriage was absent. So this is the golden age for women. Even woman has the chance to choose her husband. So, and widow remarriage was also there. So there is this is the, you know, called golden age for women, because you know this time swayambar, so they can choose their husband, okay. So nationalist historian ने इसको बताया है कि दिस इज़ द गोल्डन एज फॉर वुमेन, क्योंकि कॉलोनियल प्रोपेगेंडा रहता था कि वुमेन की कंडीशन ठीक नहीं है इंडिया में, इसलिए हम राज कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे, ताकि सभी लोगों को हम सिविलाइज कर सकें। सो तो इन ऑर्डर टू इन्वोक द सेंस ऑफ पैट्रियोटिज्म, 19th सेंचुरी का सोशल रिफॉर्म जो था उसमें भी बताया था, गो बैक टू ऋग्वेदा, मीन्स ऋग्वेदा में जो गोल्डन एज था वुमेन का, अनटचेबिलिटी नहीं थी। तो ये सब जो सोशल इविल को दूर करने के लिए सोशल रिफॉर्मर्स ने हमारे ऋग्वेदा पीरियड को यूज किया। ओके, सो दिस यू मस्ट अंडरस्टैंड। एंड सम लिमिटेशंस है कि कुछ मेल गॉड्स, फीमेल गॉड्स वर देयर, नो प्रॉब्लम, गॉडेसेस आर देयर, बट मेल गॉड्स गिवन मोर important and powerful, male gods were more important and powerful, and ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा हिम्स जो कंपोज किए थे वो मेल्स गॉड किए थे। एंड रोल ऑफ वुमेन इन रिलीजन प्रैक्टिसेस और सेकेंडरी टू मैन था, बट वो सेकेंडरी था। ऑल द प्रीस्ट जो लगभग थे वो मेल्स ही थे, एंड दे कुड नॉट होल्ड पॉलिटिकल ऑफिस, इकोनॉमिक प्लानिंग नहीं कर सकती थी, और डिसोल्यूशन ऑफ मैरिज वाज कंडीशनल। जो मैरिज जो डिज़ोल्व कर सकती थी बट वो कंडीशनल था। मेल चाइल्ड प्रेफरेंस था, मींस दे प्रे फॉर बर्थ ऑफ द सन, बट फीमेल चाइल्ड को भी इक्वल मतलब इम्पोर्टेंस था, कोई दिक्कत नहीं थी। मैरिज के भी एक सीक्रेट बॉन्ड था। मैरिज जनरली कंसीडर टू बी ए लाइफ लॉन्ग बट कुड बी डिज़ोल्व अंडर सर्टेन कंडीशन। जैसे अगर हस्बैंड डिसीज्ड है या वाइफ डिसीज्ड है, इनफर्टिलिटी इश्यू है या हस्बैंड प्रेजेंट नहीं है, तो इन दीज केसेस मैरिज कैन बी डिज़ोल्व। ओके, एंड वर्णा इन इंटर मैरिजेस वाज एक्सेप्टेबल। मोनोगामी पॉलीगामी बोथ प्रैक्टिस, but normally practiced monogamy and polygamy was practiced by the elites. Okay, and widows can remarry to younger brother of the husband. Niyoga means husband choose other man for having child. If infertility issue is there, then husband can choose other man for having child. Okay, Gotra ashram concept was not there. This will be presented during later Vedic age. As far as religious life is concerned, nature worship has been given importance, and yajnas, sacrifices. As far as nature worship is concerned, then basically some important gods are Indra, means god of rain, thunder and war, and Agni means fire god or god of sacrifices, and messenger between man and god also Agni, and Varuna. So these three gods, Indra, Agni and Varuna. Varuna means god of water. These three gods are primary gods in the early Vedic age. Idol worship you will not find any evidence for that. Okay, and religion is always private affairs there. So priestly domination नहीं था, ritualism नहीं था, ये सब आपको later Vedic age में मिलेगा, और religious disability भी नहीं थी. Now coming to later Vedic age, so as far as geographical extent is concerned, as I told you, there is a eastward migration. See in this map, there is a eastward migration. So this early Vedic people now move towards eastward in the mid-Gangetic plain via the foothills of the Himalayas. So these people will be called as later Vedic people. So in the later Vedic people, what changes you can see in the economy, society, religion, all those things let us discuss, right? So we will discuss in the later Vedic age what was the situation. So as far as geographical extent is concerned, there is a eastward migration of the Aryans, and Sapt means Sapt Sindhu region or Aryavarth region, they have moved to Mid-Gangetic Valley. Mid-Gangetic Valley. So there are two resources with respect to that justify that they have moved from Sapt Sindhu region to Mid-Gangetic Valley. One is literary resources and other is archaeological resources. Now as far as literary resources is concerned, Taitra Brahmana text confirmed land between Ganga and Yamuna was the Madhya Desh, Upper Ganga Valley. Shatpat Brahmana gives details about a statement Videha state by Videha Madhava on bank of river Gandhak in Bihar. Agni plus Ayas means fire and iron to clear the forest, because they have moved eastward and eastward area was the forest. So there was mention of Agni plus Ayas to clear the forest, means they have used fire and iron to clear the forest and to settle down in the Mid-Gangetic plain. And Atharva Veda mentions state of Magdha, central Bihar, and Anga, eastern Bihar, but doesn't provide much details about these zones. Okay, Aitriya Brahmana mentioned two oceans, Narmada and Vindhya. So these are the regions where did you find the later Vedic peoples. This indicates that they had explored whole of North India but lived primarily in mid-Gangetic plain. So they lived in the mid-Gangetic plain. So this is the Madhya Desh. So this is the region. This is the Saptasindhu region. Now they have moved in this blue color, Madhya Desh, and this is Saptasindhu region. It's called Aryavarta, and this is called the Brahmavarta, mid-Gangetic valley. So they have moved to mid-Gangetic valley. As far as this archaeological source is concerned, large number of PGW sites with iron was found in the foothill of these Saraswati and Chhatra Bareilly, Western UP and Eastern UP. So these are the things about archaeological and literary sources. Now coming to economic structure, as far as agriculture is concerned, so eastern region, they have moved to eastern region, and that's the alluvial. Mid-Gangetic plain is the having the alluvial soil, and alluvial soil is the most fertile soil. So alluvial fertile plain, so definitely they will turn to towards agriculture. And iron technology also helped in the farming process, and bed paddy plantation they have started. Now class distinction means, now earlier there is a community rights, community property, but there is a now not classless but class distinction were there. Private property, unequal distribution of wealth was found. Now variety of crop they have shown, like Yava, barley and wheat, the same name as given in early Vedic age. Yava is the name for barley and wheat both, and they have separate name as well, like wheat, for wheat they will use Gaudhuma, and Brihi for the rice. Okay, so cotton and sugarcane also cultivated. Now agriculture surplus was there. So secondary economic activity will flourish. Crafts were not there. Remember, crafts were not present in early Vedic age, but it will be present in later Vedic age. So craft trade with later Vedic. So trade to crafts will encourage the trade towards end of later Vedic age. Okay, and this trade and everything will leads to urban settlement. Okay, and there you will find not the coinage system, but you will find monetization was though absent. The barter system is also there, but you will find the early glimpses of the monetary system in Niskaj and Satmanaj mentioned. Okay, so these are the term used for ornament. Okay, so pastoralist to urbanized Mahajanpada age. So this is the transition period later Vedic from pastoralist early Vedic age, and this urbanized Mahajanpada age where 16 Mahajanpada emerged. So this is the urban center. So early Vedic age were rural to urban. This is the transition between these two. Means later Vedic age. So transition state is later Vedic age. Now as far as political structure is concerned, we have mentioned the economic structure as well as geographical extent, then economic structure. Now next to that we have mentioned, we have to go for political structure. So now agriculture is fully developed, and due to that people will settle there, because agriculture, if you show the seed in the agricultural field, it will take some time. Then only you can harvest it. So you have to take care of the seed once it grow through its whole period of time till harvesting. You have to take care of it. Then you have to settle there. So territorial states emerged due to that, because people will settle there. Okay, like Janpada. So now democracy was still there. No, democracy was not there. Democracy is replaced by absolute or hereditary monarch. Okay, now since agricultural surplus was there, so land revenue is needed, so they can maintain the army. So we will not find any full-fledged army installation, but you will find that they are more organized. Okay, religion, priest dominated. So priest will coronate the king, and the coronate will and king will, in turn will reward the priest. Now prince priest nexus you will find, and you will find the warfare in early Vedic phase is for cattle, but here you will find warfare for territory and population. Territory for more land, and population production productive ways will be increased, and ritualism of polity, uh, ritualization of the polity means you will find Ashwamedha horse sacrifice, Rajasuya and Bajpeyi sacrifice. Okay, Ashwamedha एक horse sacrifice. So horse will be left in the area for 1 year, and if anybody catch that horse, then they have to fight with the king. Okay, otherwise whatever area covered by the horse will be taken by the king. So at the time of coronation they will do the Rajasuya. Okay, and just before coronation chariot race will be done among the cousins and all those things. Bajpeyi sacrifice. So this is the Bajpeyi sacrifice. So these are the ritualization of the polity, and democratic assemblies was absolute, and king was the defender and upholder of the dharma means social order. Okay, so the king here earlier in early Vedic age that is Janeshya Gopa, but in the later Vedic age king referred as Rajan. So the word Rajan comes into picture. Okay, taxation system. Now earlier Bali was voluntarily, जिसकी इच्छा हो देता था, but now taxation Bali became compulsory now, and Bhaga was also land revenue. Okay, land revenue. Now Bali was collected by Bali Sadhaka. Bali was collected by Bali Sadhaka. Bhaga was collected by Bhagdava. Okay, and there is a, if there is a taxes coming in, then we will need the treasurer also, and that treasurer was Sangitri, right? Bhoga was the voluntary fruits or flowers by the people to the king, and Shulka commercial tax on secondary activity like trade, commerce, because crops were developed due to agricultural surplus. So taxes are also on those goods, so that tax is called Sulka. Sure, that means the now bureaucracy has become more elaborate. Okay, elaborate than early Vedic age. So army importance of army was rising, but you will not find any source for that permanent army. So towards the end of later Vedic age, Magadha, you will find Magadha has the permanent army in around 600 BCE onwards. Taittiriya Brahman mentions council of 12 Ratnins, or ministers, to assist the king or Rajan. Okay. Now Shatpat Brahmana mention new officials such as Bali Sadhak to collect the Bali tax, and Bhagduya to collect the Bhaga tax, and Sangriti like treasurer, and Aksi Pattalika means they are record keeping, apart from older ones such as Senani and Prohit. Senani और Prohit तो थे ही. Apart from that Bali Sadhak और Bhagdua और Sanghitri और Aksi Pattalika were also there. And lower level of political organization you will find the same as early Vedic age, means Kula, Grama, Bis, but above this you will find, in place of Jana you will find Janpada. Later this will become around 6th century BC Mahajanpada. Okay, so this is also highly centralized. Now let us look into, after political and economical changes, we will see the social changes. Now since agriculture was highly developed in this age as compared to early Vedic age, so there is economic stratification and political stratification, not equality but stratification. Okay, social hierarchies, this leads to social hierarchies. So egalitarianism ended, that had existed in early Vedic age, and it is replaced by social stratification. So this political social changes leads to tribal to territorial states. Now tribal states, which was in early Vedic age, will be replaced by territorial state and territorial warring state, they fight together for territorial expansion. Okay, so dilution of tribal identity. Now if other tribal area has been has been defeated, then that land area will be covered in the earlier one. Okay, who is the winner? So different tribes will live in the same state. So dilution of tribal identity. Now living in a Janpada, not one tribe but many tribes. Unlike Jana, which belongs to same tribe. Okay, so and they claim equal rights, privilege, status, power. That also decrease. Now no equality in rights, privilege, status and power. So there is a differentiation in the power, concentration of power in the hand of ruling class. So whoever ruling, they had concentrated all the powers. You will find change in the varna system. Now this become rigid. वर्ना मोबिलिटी जो हो जाती थी एक वर्ना से दूसरे मोबिलिटी में इंक्यूबेशन वेस्ट, वो अब नहीं होगी. दे कैन चेंज वर्ना. इंटरवर्ना मैरिज भी डिस्करेज की गई और कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ प्योरिटी एंड पॉल्यूशन became visible and transformed into a marker of social status. And this is now birth based. Earlier it was on occupation based. Now it is based on birth. Okay, now let's and now a new term has come, that is gotra, cow ring. Okay, means all their cows in same enclosure. उन सब के cows एक same enclosure में रहेंगे तो same गोत्र के होंगे. सो किनशिप बेस्ड ग्रुप ये था गोत्रा. सेम गोत्र से बिलोंग करते हैं, मतलब सेम ब्लड ग्रुप के हैं. ओके, सो इमर्ज इनिशियली अमंग ब्राह्मण्स में ये इमर्ज किया गोत्रा सिस्टम. एंड दे हैव डिफाइंड डिफरेंट, दे हैव बीन फाउंड इन 12 गोत्रास, 12 महर्षि. तो हर एक महर्षि से रिलेटेड 12 महर्षि से रिलेटेड 12 गोत्रा हो गया. ठीक है, तो इसका मतलब कि दे आर डिसेंडेंट फ्रॉम महर्षि. वन महर्षि one gotra, other maharshi other gotra. 12 gotra have the 12 different maharshi. So element both have inclusion and exclusion. So one gotra is excluded from other gotra, so this will have the elements of both inclusion and exclusion, but exclusivity was main focus. Now gotra exclusiony as new rule emerged. Means same gotra में marriage नहीं कर सकते. Means justification to prevent incest and preserve purity of bloodlines. Okay, socio-economic political conflict. So gotra emerged as a tool to mobilize support from members of the same gotra. सेम गोत्रा के हैं तो वो सपोर्ट को मोबिलाइज कर सकते हैं. एंड साइमल्टेनियसली इट एक्सक्लूडेड फ्रॉम द अदर गोत्रा, राइट. एंड इन द अदर Brahman, apart from Brahman, Kshatriya also started Gotra system, and Kshatriya and Vaisya also started. So Gotra divided, they were also divided later on after Brahmana divided into Gotra. Now as far as caste and untouchability, this was absent in early Vedic, and this is also absent in later Vedic case. It will emerge in post-modern period or Gupta period and Gupta period. Okay, so the absent from society. Now ashram and dharma as a new concept has emerged. As far as the ashram is concerned, there is 4 stage of division of life of any individual. Like brahmacharya means they will acquire the knowledge in the brahmacharya age limit, and then in the grihastha they will collect the material well-being. In the vanprastha, that is transition towards renunciation, and sannyas means complete renunciation in the persistence of moksha. And dharma, these are set of duties, obligation that one owes to oneself and others. So these are the things to regulate the social behaviors, ashramas and dharmas. Now varna and ashram and dharma, this all three together all called varnashram dharma system. So this laid the foundation of brahmanical domination in the society. Complete life happiness. So Upanishads 4 Purusharth of happy life: dharma, artha, kama, moksha. And moksha is for pursuit of moksha you will have to go up to sannyas through brahmacharya, grihastha, vanprastha, sannyas. These are the ashrams. So you have to follow the ashram to get the dharma, dharma, varna. So all is included, all is connected. So rising inequality in society, led to the social and economic restrictions also. Exclusion of Sudras and women you will find from education due to inequality, and this will also discourage the intervarna marriages, and also exclusion of Sudras and women from political and political participation and economic pursuits. Now status of women decreases, there you will find relative decline, and as this is reflected because they had been denied for the education and inheritance, political access, as well as economic opportunity. And there is you will find widow remarriage. There had been a reference for the widow remarriage, but you will find discouragement for that. Dowry system emerged. Okay, birth of girl child was the burden in this age. Birth of girl child in early Vedic period was not the burden. As far as marriage is concerned, so this is indissoluble union. नाउ अब शादी हो जाएगी तो वो इनडिज़ोल्व होगा, वो डिज़ोल्व नहीं कर सकते जैसे अर्ली वैदिक एज में था. ओके, एंड डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ मैरिज यू विल फाइंड indissoluble union. आप समझिए अनुलोम मैरिज. अनुलोम मैरिज मीन्स मेल फ्राम अपर वर्णा एंड फीमेल फ्राम लोअर वर्णा कैन बी मैरिड, बट इसको भी डिस्करेज करते थे. वो अलाउड था बट डिस्करेज करते थे. एंड प्रतिलोम मैरिज मीन्स मेल फ्राम लोअर वर्णा कुड नॉट मैरी, this is completely banned from women from upper varna, right? And some other marriages also mentioned in later Vedic age like Gandhara, Ashur, Rakshasa, Pisach. ये marriages restricted थी. Gandhara means love marriage, live in relationship like. Ashur means marriage by purchase, means खरीद की जो शादी होती है. और राक्षस मैरिज वो होती है जो मैरिज बाई एबडक्शन, मीन्स वो रेप और वो सब चीज़ें हैं. और पिशाच मैरिज है मीन्स मैरिज विद ए गर्ल विदाउट एनी कंसेंट, ये रेस्ट्रिक्टेड था. ओके, एंड ब्रह्मा सेम वर्णा की जो मैरिज होती थी, प्रजापति सेम वर्णा विदाउट डाउरी, ये सब अलाउड था. एंड दावा, अर्षा. ओके, दावा मीन्स ब्राइड इज डिनोटेड टू द प्रीस्ट एज दक्षिणा एंड अर्षा टेकन ब्राइड प्राइस. ओके, these were allowed a bit. Okay, and widow remarriage allowed but discouraged. Okay, niyoga disappeared at this time. Now religious change you will find ritualism has been increased, means there are 16 means this has came to dominate every aspect of life, public or private. Ritualism. Now if you see the private life, so everyone has to follow 16 sanskaras like garbhadharan, means the sanskar that is related to garbhadharan. then नामकरण, नाम जब रखा जाता है. एंड देन अन्नप्राशन, जब पहली बार अनाज मुंह में जाता है तो उस समय अन्नप्राशन, ये भी संस्कार आज है. एंड चूरापरण मीन्स मुंडन जो होता है. फिर उपनयन संस्कार मीन्स थ्रेड पहन लेगा, जब थ्रेड इंसान पहन लेगा तब वो एजुकेशन गेन कर सकता है. एंड दिस वाज प्रोहिबिटेड फॉर शूद्राज एंड वोमेन, मीन्स वोमेन एजुकेशन नहीं फाइंड आउट, वोमेन एजुकेशन नहीं ले सकती थी. तो केवल ये अपर 3 वर्णाज कर सकते थे उपनयन, तो उपनयन करते थे तो एंड देन एजुकेशन लेते थे. तो दीज वर अपर 3 वर्णाज वाज आल्सो कॉल्ड द्विज, मीन्स ट्वाइस बॉर्न. नाउ जो शादी की उपनयन की जो उपनयन की जो एज थी, मीन्स पढ़ाई लिखाई उपनयन के बाद स्टार्ट हो जाती थी, थ्रेड सेरेमनी के बाद. तो उपनयन की जो एज थी वो ब्राह्मण के लिए 8 ईयर्स, क्षत्रिय के लिए 11 ईयर्स और वैश्य के लिए 12 ईयर्स थी. ओके, पब्लिक लाइफ में अगर हम देखें कि पब्लिक लाइफ में कैसे डोमिनेट करता था रिचुअलिज्म, तो ये प्राइवेट लाइफ में हो गया. पब्लिक लाइफ में रिचुअलाइज्ड होता था. किंग प्रीस्ट, किंग को अगर राजा बनाना है तो दे हैव टू डू अश्वमेध यज्ञ, राजसूय, वाजपेय. ओके, एंड ये माना जाता था इन सब यज्ञ के बाद कि प्रीस्ट जो है वो किंग को राजा बनाते थे और किंग वाज चूजन बाय गॉड. तो अगर आप किंग का कहना नहीं मानोगे तो इट मीन्स आप गॉड का कहना नहीं मानते हो. तो मीन्स अब रिलीजियस वर्शिप बिकेम हाईली कॉम्प्लिकेटेड. अर्ली वैदिक एज में उतना कॉम्प्लिकेटेड नहीं था. अब हर एक रिचुअल में आपको प्रीस्ट की रिक्वायरमेंट होगी. अर्ली वैदिक एज में प्रीस्ट की रिक्वायरमेंट नहीं होती थी. घर में लोग हवन कर देते थे, घर में लोग पूजा पाठ कर लेते थे. बट अब क्या होगा कि प्रीस्ट की रिक्वायरमेंट होगी एंड प्रीस्टली डोमिनेशन मिलेगा रिलीजियस लाइफ में. तो तो वो क्या करेंगे, फ्री में तो करेंगे नहीं, कुछ फीस लेंगे। फीस लेंगे तो रिलीजन क्या होगा, एक्सपेंसिव हो जाएगा। तो एक्सपेंसिव हो जाएगा तो ये एक्सक्लूड करेगा कुछ लोगों को, जो लोग नहीं पे कर पाएंगे, मीन्स पुअर और लोअर वर्ना विल बी एक्सक्लूडेड। और मटेरियलिज्म रिलीजन में कंटिन्यूड किया टू रिमेन एन इम्पॉर्टेंट कैरेक्टरिस्टिक ऑफ रिलीजन, बट फिलासफिकल और स्पिरिचुअलिटी भी बढ़ी, लाइक साल्वेशन, शांति। सो मैन और गॉड के बीच जो रिलेशनशिप था अब वो कॉम्प्लिकेटेड हो गया, और वो गवर्न होने लगा मोक्ष, धर्म, अधर्म, पाप, पुण्य, प्रयाश्चित, मीन्स मीनिंग ऑफ लाइफ, साइकिल ऑफ लाइफ, नेचर ऑफ गॉड, हिज क्रिएशन ऑफ यूनिवर्स, रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन मैन एंड गॉड, ऑल हैज़ बीन कॉम्प्लिकेटेड। एंड स्पिरिचुअल गॉड जो आए, अब जो पहले जो गॉड थे जो नेचर से रिलेटेड थे, लाइक इंद्रा गॉड ऑफ एयर, अग्नि गॉड ऑफ फायर, ओके, एंड वरुणा गॉड ऑफ वाटर, ये अर्ली वैदिक जो गॉड्स थे वो नेचर से रिलेटेड थे। अब स्पिरिचुअल गॉड्स मिलेंगे लाइक ब्रह्मा एंड विष्णु। सो मेजर गॉड, सुप्रीम गॉड कौन से थे, ब्रह्मा और विष्णु थे। महेश अभी नहीं इमर्ज किए हैं, ब्रह्मा विष्णु महेश लेटर एज में इमर्ज करेंगे। नेक्स्ट वी विल मूव टू द टॉपिक नाउ, दिस इज द लेटर वैदिक एज। वी हैव डिस्कस्ड इन अर्ली वैदिक एज, लेटर वैदिक एज, सोशल, इकोनॉमिक, पॉलिटिकल and religious life. Now we will compare it that we have started. Now you can compare, we have given a table that you can look into. In the table if you look, this geographic comparison between early Vedic and I have explained all these parts. Northwest India, Afghanistan, Punjab, Haryana, Sindhu, these are the names in modern name in this. Vitasta, modern name Jhelum, अस्किनी, पुरुषनी, विपाशा, सतोद्री, सरस्वती, घाघर, सरस्वती, घाघर, okay. So these are things. And Ganga Valley, then they have moved into mid Ganga Valley. So Aryavart, western Ganga Valley, and you know it was the area of Kuru Janpada having two capitals, Hastinapur, Indraprastha. Different Janpadas has been emerged, because there is you will find in early Vedic age Jana, and that Jana has been converted into Janpada, and later in Mahajanpada you will find that some Janpada will combine together, will give rise to Mahajanpada. So many Janpadas have emerged in the north as a territorial kingdom, more evolved. नाउ इकोनॉमी, पास्टोरलिज्म से आप लेटर वैदिक एज में एग्रीकल्चर की तरफ मूव कर गई, हमने बहुत ही अच्छे से एक्सप्लेन किया। सोसाइटी एक्यूबेशन बेस्ड पहले थी, बाद में वर्णा बेस्ड हो गई। एंड लेटर ऑन पॉलिटी, अब कंट्रोल ऑफ द रूलर ओवर इट्स पीपल था, अब कंट्रोल ऑफ रूलर ओवर टेरिटरी हो गया, दैट इज़ द पॉलिटी बेसिक फीचर। एंड रिलीजन इंद्रा एंड अग्नि, एंड इसमें आदि पुरुष एंड रुद्र शिवा, तो ब्रह्मा विष्णु, okay. So these are the things. So religion, with respect to religion, there is a nature related god, and you will find change in the later Vedic age. So these are the things between early Vedic age and later Vedic age. So we have completed in very much detail. Now these Janpadas that I have mentioned will be converted into Mahajanpadas. So we will start now in the next lecture age of Mahajanpada. Now let us begin the age of Mahajanpada, its resources at least today. Okay, so age of Mahajanpada we will begin it. Now Janpada will grow and converted into a Mahajanpada. Okay, so age of Mahajanpada, in this this timeline is 600 to 300 BCE, and this is also called age of Buddhism, age of Jainism, because two religion has appeared against Brahmanical religion or Vedic religion, because too much in the later Vedic age you have studied that later Vedic age the ritualism has been increased. So ritualism has been increased, and that was for ritual performed by priest, and priest will take the fee. So it has excluded some social groups like women and you know lower hierarchy people. So this has excluded. So religion was complex in the later Vedic age. So people had moved towards Buddhism or Jainism, because this is the philosophy based, and money is not required at all in the Buddhism and Jainism. So people have started following Jainism and Buddhism. So we will see the growth of Buddhism and Jainism also against the Brahmanical religion in the age of Mahajanpada. So this age of Mahajanpada, and within age of Mahajanpada you will find the rise of Buddhism and Jainism against Brahmanical religion. So this will start from 6th century BC and will end around 300 BC. Now Mahajanpada, so political, social, economic changes. So as far as political changes are concerned, now Janpada will convert into Mahajanpada. Janpada will be converted into Mahajanpada. This is the political changes, and society become more intellect. Okay, so Jainism, rise of Jainism, this is the social changes. As far as social changes are concerned, this is the political changes, Janpada to Mahajanpada. Social changes are concerned, social and intellectual changes, you will find Jainism and rise of Jainism and Buddhism. So rise of Jainism and Buddhism. And as far as economic changes, you will find that this is the second urbanization, because first urbanization was Indus Valley civilization, EVC, or Harappan civilization. Like now we will consider this political changes, that is Janpada, how Janpada is converted into Mahajanpada. So for that purpose we will first discuss the sources. So Mahajanpada sources, we will have two sources, literary and archaeological. In literary we will find indigenous and foreign literature. In indigenous we will find religious and secular literature. As far as religious literature is concerned, we have Brahmanicism literature, post-Vedic Suti literature like Vedangas, Vedas and early Smritis. Buddhism like Rai Pitakas, and Jainism, that is Prakrit work like Angas, you will find. And secular literature you will find Ashtadhyayi or of Panini, and Arthashastra. So Arthashastra came later, but some portion had been believed that some of its portion composed during this age of Mahajanpada period. So these are secular literature. As far as archaeological is concerned, NBPW pottery culture, we will find Panchmark coin. First time appeared Panchmark coin. And physical remains of settlements, sexual sites, places, forts, we will find to see that there were people. Okay, so they had built different palaces, forts, etc., and other cultural remains and artifacts will be find. Now coming to this foreign literature, so Greek literature and Roman literature we will find, because around 326 BCE you will find Alexander invaded, and you will find some literature with respect to that. Now as far as foreign literature concerned, let me discuss a bit about that, because that's important. As you find that first invader in historic period, you will find Persians. Okay, they had Achaemenid Empire, and the ruler was Darius II. They conquered Punjab and Sindh, means up to Indus River they have conquered. Okay, so their empire was extended up to border of Europe, up to Turkey on one side, and up to India on the other side. So they have Persians linked common, they worked as common link between India and Europe. Now this Persian empire was eliminated once Greek Alexander invaded. Okay, and Greek had not come alone. He had come with some scholars like Anastas and Aristobulus and Nearchus, etc. So they wrote about Indian society, culture and all those things, but work not survived yet. Around 1st century BD, you will find a Greek author Arrian, who composed the Anabasis of Alexander, in Alexander bibliography. So writing of Greek scholars including Herodotus. So Herodotus came before Alexander. Okay, and he came to know about India by interaction with Persian. Okay, so he has written some things, and what Persian told the Herodotus, that India is a land of riches. Okay, when you will see the downfall of Greek power, so new power emerged in the West, that is the Roman. So Roman writings, so Greek and Roman literature you will find as a foreign literature Okay, and in this regard with respect to age of Mahajanpada. Now, what is the advantage? Foreign literature will give some information, because at that time you will never find any native sources to describe the history of northwestern India, Indian subcontinent. Okay, so this foreign literature, means Greek Roman literature, will act as a reference point for Indian history, because you will find the date of Alexander invasion in India. I will find 326 to 324 BCE. So you will find mention in the foreign literature that Chandragupta Maurya defeated Dhanananda and established Mauryan Empire 6 years after Alexander invasion. Now 6 years, 326 to 324, so 321 to 318. So in this way you can establish the timeline for Mauryan age as well. So these I have discussed with respect to age of Mahajanpada. Resources, literary and archaeological. Within literary we have discussed indigenous as well as foreign literature. So next we will take up other things with respect to age of Mahajanpada. So thank you so much. Please watch it carefully with pen and copy, and subscribe my channel if you had not subscribed before, and thank you so much.